Hi, greetings to the New Brunswick Nurses Association. My name is Lowry Olafson, and I thought I'd make this little video for you just to give you a little bit of information about my workshops and my keynotes on resilience, the roots of resilience for the unsung heroes of healthcare, nurses and other healthcare professionals. My background is first and foremost as a musician, as a singer-songwriter. And so if there's one thing that nurses and songwriters have in common, it's that hopefully we have fairly high levels of technical skill, but ultimately what people remember is how you make them feel. And of course that's especially difficult for nurses because, you know, you're in the thick of such intense circumstances. The expectations are just huge. And yet, you know, in the midst of that, people also want to feel that they're cared for and they want to feel seen and heard and all of those things. So the demands, I'm sure, are relentless, and I can imagine that the levels of burnout would be a real source of concern to you. Music has a way of not only delivering the message, but you know, to people's heads, but also to reach them on a heart level. And so I believe that that has more impact than probably any other way of delivering the information. And that information also has to be very current, because the latest research shows that there are more and more ways to build resilience that people haven't necessarily been paying attention to. How nurses have a tendency towards perfectionism, and how important it is that they allow themselves to also be human, to cut themselves some slack, to cut their team members some slack, create a culture where, you know, there's room for people to take care of themselves and to take care of each other. So that's certainly part of what my talk is about. I've got some hands-on exercises that are pretty fun that I use before I go on stage, just as a way to change your emotional state. And those are things that anybody can do in just a short period of time. So that's kind of a fun element. There's a lot of stories. One of the other key pieces for building resilience is a sense of connecting to a feeling that we are living our calling. And many of the nurses who I talk to who are thriving in spite of these challenging times are people who say, you know, I just feel like this is what I was meant to do. And not only the nursing aspect of it, but certain aspects, you know, maybe they are, you know, they fall into a teaching role, and that's the way that they help people, you know, navigate the challenge of the emergency room or the procedures that they're going through. They just explain things to them to give people a sense of control and of being seen and being cared for. Or sometimes they fall into an advocating role, and that's these nurses that see themselves as advocates. And some of them, it's a leadership thing, and you know, I do an exercise called Compliments That Matter, where I ask people in the room to think of a compliment or an acknowledgement that they received about their work that's really meant a lot to them. And then we read those out and read them out, and everybody has an opportunity to, you know, to reconnect and to reflect on why am I doing this? What is the thing that feeds me? And then how can I do more of that? You know, how can I honor that passion? And then what I do that's probably different from almost anybody that you've ever had, at the very end, there's time for us to write a little song together. We write a song with the message that we want people to take home and remember. And it could be something like, you know, because we care, you know? Because, you know, we get up in the morning because we care. We can, we'll be there. Hopefully it will be better than that. But we take a little bit of time and we work as a group. So it's a collaborative, creative process that most people haven't experienced before. And it has a powerful way to bring people together and to hear all these different perspectives. And people don't have to sing, but I must say that they usually end up kind of singing, because I create this really kind of fun, safe way for people to edge their way into it. And at the end, we make a recording of the song, and everybody gets a copy of that song, and they have it as an ongoing reminder of, you know, what they stand for and why, you know, what the gift is that they give the world doing this job as nurses. So that's pretty much it. If you have questions, please don't hesitate to get in touch with me. I'd love to have more conversations. And of course, each time I do a presentation, I interview you or your members just to learn a little more about your challenges and to get a sense of exactly where you want to go with the presentation. So I'm Lowry Olafson. Thank you so much for your time, and I look forward to communicating more with you. Okay, see you soon.